Hi, Deb here. Hope you can see me better than I can see. I don't know what's the deal with the light, but anyway, Women's History Month, I have another doll to share, and it's another Ohio lady. So, and we're going to talk about Annie Oakley. This is those Hallmark dolls, famous American series, 1979, Series 1. And they have the boxes like the Wild Bill show that she was part of. And here's the doll. Here's the back of the box. It's really colorful and made up like the posters of the time advertising the Buffalo Bill show. Buffalo Bill, yeah. I always get him mixed up with Wild Bill Hickok. It's Buffalo Bill. This is the doll, and it's all fabric, and it's really well done because Annie, she embroidered all her own outfits, and it looks like an embroidery. It isn't, it's printed, but it looks like, and her long braids and her hat. They don't have, she always wore a star on her hat, so they didn't do that, but here's the tag, and it's in her boots. This is very, very accurate from all the pictures I've seen of Annie Oakley. And I'm really happy that this is part of my collection because Annie was quite a lady. Okay, you know how I do. Annie was born August 13th, 1860 in Darke County, Ohio. And let's see, she was born Phoebe Ann Moses. There's the discrepancy on the last name because on her father's gravestone it's listed as Mosey, M-O-S-E, but Moses is what they say. Her father died when she was young from results of being caught in a blizzard. And she had seven? I'm sorry, I didn't write that down. She had a lot of siblings, and they lived on a farm, and without the dad, they were in big trouble. She helped feed the family by hunting, which girls weren't supposed to do. But she was so good at it. Excuse me. And, but eventually, the mother tried so hard to support her family, she couldn't. She sent some kids to live with other people. Annie got sent to an infirmary in, I forget where it was, but it was close. But that's where you sent children you couldn't support. But unfortunately, there were also people who had mental and physical conditions, and it was a hard place for a little girl to be. She got, what they call it, bonded out, I think they call it, where she went to live with a family on a farm with the promise of getting an education and getting money she could send back to the family. They lied. And it wasn't the infirmary's fault. The people lied. And I think she lived there for 2 years. They had her from 4 a.m. till way after dark. She had to do everything on the farm, take care of the family, take care of their clothes, take care of washing and milking the cows, feeding. She had to do everything, and she was exhausted. She fell asleep while darning, and the mother put her out in the snow without shoes to punish her. And of course, thinking of how her father died in a blizzard, that was enough, and she ran away. Some kind man gave her train fare to get back home. Eventually, she had to go back to the infirmary, but they were not farming her out anymore. They trained her, they taught her, they educated her, and things went much better. But she had a rough life, and she never forgot it. Okay, she was so good at shooting. She got a reputation, and then there was a shooting contest with a man who was an expert sharpshooter named Frank Butler. And he said, well, yeah, I'll take her on, but come on. She's I can win it. And well, she beat him. Much to the shock of everybody. And she beat everybody. She was amazing. They got married in 1876. and they joined the Buffalo Bill Wild West show in 1885. Oh, I forgot to mention they were Quakers. She was raised a Quaker, which meant they were nonviolent, no war, no weapons. But when you lived out in the wilderness, you had to have weapons to eat. So that was a departure. And yeah, it was 9 children. I'm looking at my notes, as you can tell. So anyway, some of the things she accomplished. One of her tricks was shooting over her shoulder using a mirror. She never missed, hardly ever. Let's see, she could split at 30 paces, she could split a playing card edgewise. They would throw a playing card in the air and she could riddle it before it hit the ground. She could shoot dimes in the air, cigarettes out of her husband's mouth. I mean, nobody was as good as Annie Oakley at shooting. And she was the first American woman superstar. The Buffalo Bill show went over to Europe, and she became a sensation there. She loved England. I understand that. I would too. Let's see. That family, she called them the wolves, the people who were so cruel to her. She never named them. I don't know why, but anyway. Let's see. She became a superstar. She was very frugal because she'd been poor, but she was also generous with orphans and people who were in need. She was very generous. Sitting Bull saw her perform, and he felt she had a spiritual gift. And they became lifelong friends from that point on. And he called her Little Sure Shot. He adopted her. I don't know how that happened. It wasn't legal adoption, but through his tradition, he adopted her as his child. And they stayed friends forever from that point on. And he joined the Buffalo Bill show, which was unusual because Buffalo Bill was famous for being an Indian fighter. So. Okay, let's see. She even set records in her 60s. When she was 62, she shot 100 clay pigeons, 16 yards, 100 in a row. She was in a car crash in 1922. She had to wear a steel brace on her leg from that point on. At one point, her hair just turned white, and no one knows why. But she wore a brown wig until her later years. Let's see, what else I want to tell you about her. She died November 3rd, 1926 of pernicious anemia. I don't know what that is, but I think it's a blood poison. Her husband died 18 days later. They were married over 50 years. They were very moral, very traditional. They had no children. And they kind of broke the mold, because most people in the traveling shows, they were pretty wild. but she and her husband, they just maintained their nice, peaceful, moral life, and good for them. Let's see, what does the box say about Annie? One of the outstanding personalities of America's Golden West. She was a crack shot when she was 9 years old. At the age of 15, won a shooting match with Frank Butler. I already told you that. Vaudeville marksman, married, toured the vaudeville circuit. And then they joined Buffalo Bill. Okay, there's nothing on here that I didn't already tell you. So, well, not much. So anyway, this is a Hallmark Annie Oakley doll. Annie Oakley, apparently she wrote an autobiography. I'm going to find that. I read this book. Here's my quote. She really believed in exercise for girls, and she thought girls should go into sport. I think sport and healthful exercise make women better, healthier, and happier. She's an avid bicyclist, too. Hey, Marna, you would like Annie Oakley. Everybody should like Annie Oakley. So I hope you like her. I hope you learned a little. And I hope you like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Instagram. And until next time, toodles. I'm always forgetting things. Thomas Edison was a neighbor of hers, so there is film of her shooting clay pigeons. There's no sound, of course, but I will try to link that below. So check it out. It's hard to really grasp her majesty in her skill, but it's still fun to see Annie Oakley shooting clay pigeons. Okay, that's it. Toodles. And stay tuned for pictures too. Bye. One more thing. No one's really sure why she picked the name Oakley as her stage name. Some think that was the last name of the man who gave her the money for her train ticket home. But others think that was a town near where she grew up, Oakley. So we don't really know, but maybe she just liked the sound of it. And therefore, she was Annie Oakley. Okay, now I'm through. Stay tuned for pictures.